We're back in. We're talking with the First Minister of Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon. Now, David Cameron is the head of the Conservative Party. You have brought, first of all, you demolished Labour. Ed Miliband and the Labour Party. Are they angry at SNP, or are they more disappointed in Miliband? Did you outflank them? How did that happen?
Well, they're disappointed in Miliband, but they're expressing that by being angry at the SNP. So it's easier for them to blame the SNP for the fact they got demolished in the election than to actually face up to the reasons why they got demolished. What did the SNP do to beat Labour so comprehensively? We started acting more like people expect a Labour Party to act like. So we stood up against austerity. We said, you know what, we don't want to spend £100 billion on new Trident nuclear missiles. We'd rather do something really radical and invest that in health care and education and giving kids the best start in life. You know, if you go back 10 or 20 years, these are the things Labour politicians used to say in the UK, but not anymore. They've just tried to outright wing the Conservatives, and it hasn't worked for them.
And their strategy has been to paint SNP as very naive, that you'll never be able to survive without us, you'll never be able to deliver on the promises that you have made. What has been, from the election until now, what has been the most challenging part of delivering on those promises, and what has been the part that's gone as smoothly as you would have liked?
It's only a few weeks from the election, and one of the things that we didn't expect, nobody across the UK expected David Cameron to have a majority. So we thought there would be a hung parliament where the SNP might hold the balance of power. David Cameron's got a majority. That's going to be more difficult to win real progress, but we've got a clever, talented bunch of MPs that will make Scotland's voice heard, and we'll win those deals and that progress for Scotland. But, you know, the SNP, we're the government in Scotland in the devolved parliament, and we've been the government for 8 years, and we've kept most of our promises. We've done really good things for Scotland, and in each election we seem to get more popular. So we'll keep trying to do our best for Scotland, and hopefully people in Scotland will keep voting for us.
If the dream comes to pass for you, and you
This is the dream, John.
I'm going to say something to you, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Dream bigger.
You're so
you will
humble.
learn when you go back to Scotland. I don't even think it's available there.
Do you know, it is about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I know that. My clock's here also.
But you're going to have such a surge of viewers in Scotland and across the UK with all my political opponents and elements of the media.
They're going to be going through to try and find
waiting for you to
mistakes.
Humiliate me completely
really?
tonight. So don't.
Oh, this is
please
exciting.
Don't.
Oh, yeah, well, you're going down. I got nothing. But it is, I find it interesting, if the dream lives, you know, people have become accustomed to this idea that, you know, Scotland gets more money, doesn't it, from England, from Westminster?
No, you know, the UK, like America, we're in deficit, so we spend more than we bring in taxes. Scotland's in the same position, but that doesn't equate to us being subsidised by Westminster. Scotland's, you know, every single year for about 30 years now, we in Scotland, we've generated more tax per head of population than the UK, because we've got a strong and productive economy. We work pretty hard, and we're pretty successful.
1.9% to, I believe, 0.9%.
We're not subsidised. We're more than capable of standing in our own.
Did you like the stats I threw in there?
I have no idea if they were true. I think you just made them up, but...
Let me tell you this.
You could be a politician.
Let me tell you this. Completely made them up.
Yeah, you'd be a really good politician.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be a good comedian.
If you were to get the dream, do you still dream of that self-determination? Yeah. Would you still be a part of UK? Would you be a part of the European Union? What would you want to do?
Yes, we'd be part of the European Union. Okay. And one of the really worrying things just now is David Cameron might be about to take the UK out of the European Union. That would be devastating for Scotland and for the UK. So we'd want to be part of the European Union. And if Scotland became independent, we wouldn't be part of the United Kingdom anymore, but we'd still be part of the British Isles. So Scotland, Wales, England, Northern Ireland. We're a family of nations, and we can be a family of nations even if Scotland is independent. You know, my grandmother was English. Many people in Scotland have family in England. Lots of people in England have family in Scotland. We've got really strong links. We've got a shared history. Those links are never going to be broken. We just want to stand on our own 2 feet and make our own decisions.
That way here about New Jersey, and where we have a lot of blood ties, but the truth is, if we lost them,
Well, I think that's a shame.
it is a bit of a shame.
I think that's
Now,
a
what happens
shame.
now? Are you going to go to D.C. and talk to our politicians? What is your progress to talk about how austerity devastates a country, how it's a difficult policy, how it's one that is not the right way out? You know, England has suffered under austerity. That's the thing that struck me as the most unusual about this election, was austerity policy seemed very unpopular, and yet Cameron and the Tories won.
That's because Ed Miliband and Labour didn't stand up and give an alternative. They promised more of the same, more or less, and people wanted an alternative to that.
Do you remember, this is in the election where Al Gore lost to George W. Bush?
Oh, I remember
Or
it
they
well.
tied. Not that it had consequences for the world.
Not very many.
But Ralph Nader was the spoiler, and everybody was mad at Ralph Nader. Are you guys in the spoiler position?
There
Would
were no-
Cameron have gotten that supermajority without
There were no
SNP?
hanging chads in the UK general election.
You know what's-
No, even if Labour had won every single seat in Scotland at the election, so if the SNP had taken no seats off of Labour,
Yeah.
the Tories would still have won.
They still
because the
have won.
Tories won in England.
Right.
Ed Miliband wasn't able to beat the Conservatives in England. That's why we've got a Tory
Was
government.
it the bacon sandwich? What happened?
Well, the bacon sandwich, I don't think helped, to be honest.
It
You know,
really didn't
I
help.
really
The
don't think
bacon
it helped.
sandwich
But you
didn't
know what?
help.
I don't think it was the fundamental problem
Right.
of Labour's offer, but certainly I grant you it didn't help things.
I'm so pleased to meet you. Congratulations on being the first minister of Scotland. You are the first woman to be first minister of Scotland?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. The first minister of Scotland. We wish you well. And if you ever are thinking about trying to unload some of that sweet, sweet North Atlantic tea, you always have a friend in America.
Thank you. Thank you very much.